welcome to the 411 Mamas. My name is Chloe Burnett and I am very lucky to be a guest on their channel today. I have a channel here on YouTube and it's just under Chloe Burnett, my name, and the link will be down in the description bar below. Today I'm wanting to share with you my experience with mixed feeding with Ellie when she was started when she was a newborn. We used formula and we also breastfed as well. These are the reasons why we did. 24 hours after Ellie was born, the midwife came up to us and she said, look, Ellie's bilirubin levels are skyrocketing, especially for only being 24 hours old, needs phototherapy. It was quite bad, her jaundice, and her bilirubin levels I think were about maybe 220. I think. Before we found out about that though, I was breastfeeding. As soon as we found out the news, Ellie went into special care nursery. So we couldn't get her out of the humidity crib that she was in. We couldn't, we could put our hands in, but I wasn't able to pick her up and breastfeed her. What they needed to do, they needed to really flush everything out. So they were giving her formula, but as soon as my breast milk came in, I would go in, because I was still at hospital at this point, I would go in and I would pump breast milk and then I would store it in the fridge. So they were using my breast milk but also formula. So what I was doing once Ellie was better, so 2.5 days later, Ellie could come out of phototherapy. I was still breastfeeding Ellie as my priority, and then for top-ups or if she was cluster feeding, I didn't feel like I had enough breast milk, I would give her a bottle of formula. So basically we were doing this process up until about, I think she was only 2 weeks old, and I noticed her tongue was very white. I thought, it might just be bit of milk tongue, something like that. Went to a pharmacist and he said, look, it could very well be a bit of thrush, which is quite common. So he gave us some medication. I can't remember what this one was, but it was basically you just put a little drop on their tongue and it's just meant to help to clear the thrush up. So within 4 days I felt it wasn't clearing up. I think because I felt like I wasn't educated or I didn't know where I could find the information for, was because I thought, oh, if Ellie has thrush and if she latches on to me, then I could get it, and then it goes into a vicious cycle. So I thought, oh, okay. So what I did was, so Ellie could keep having breast milk, I was pumping and still using formula when needed, but at this point breast milk was the priority. So I went to my GP, I just spoke to them on the phone and they said, look, get this other medication and see how that works. We started using this new medication from the pharmacist and that was making a difference, thank goodness. Once I felt it was all cleared up, I was starting to put Ellie back on the boob again. Then it got to a point where I think I was giving her more formula than breast milk. So I started to lack in milk. And I remember I would be there pumping, for maybe 20 minutes and I'd only get a few meals. And I started freaking out, thinking, oh my goodness, like, okay, this has happened because I haven't, breastfed enough, and so my milk's dried up, and I just started really freaking out because I feel that there's a lot of pressure these days. And, we all want our best for our baby. And I remember looking on the formula tin, and even the formula tin said, breast is best and all this, and, as a new mum, and I was going through the baby blues, I was just like, oh my goodness, what do I do? What do I do? And I remember ringing up my mum, ringing up the breastfeeding hotline, and I just remember it all just toppled up so quickly on me. At about 4 weeks old, that was the point where my milk was I was getting nothing. I tried for a few days and I was really getting nothing at all. And I personally feel it was because I was probably using more formula than breastfeeding. So I had a really good long chat to my mum, and you know what, it comes down to, as long as mum and baby are happy, you have to feed your baby with what's best. Formula or breast milk, you know, you just have to do what is best for the both of you. And my mum actually bumped into one of the midwives that knew me, and she said, oh no, you should never stop breastfeeding for anything. And well, I didn't know, and then that made me feel horrible, thinking I feel like a horrible mother because I've stopped breastfeeding, and then I felt like they were judging me. And I remember at my 6-week appointment, I felt like, you know, I'm giving Ellie a bottle, and I know she was thinking, you shouldn't be doing that. But you know what, as it came down to it, as soon as Ellie was on just full-time formula, especially because formula is more fattier, so she was plumping up quite quickly. But she was happy. She was feeding every 3 to 3.5 hours. So she was feeding really well, and I was happy too. Now, in saying all of this, I missed breastfeeding for sure. And you know what, if there's a next time around, definitely endeavour to keep going with breastfeeding. At the same time, you know what, now that I've had experience with mixed feeding, I liked it. When I was on breast and formula, I was using formula more into the afternoon and the night time, just to try and stretch it out a bit more and fill her tummy up for longer. So you know what, as I said, if there's a next time round, you know, I will breastfeed, but maybe in the nighttime feeds, give her formula. I'm very open-minded. I know there's a lot of opinions on this discussion, and you know what, each to your own. You've got to do what's best for you and your baby. I really did enjoy breastfeeding. It's just, I don't know, it's special, but however you feed your baby, you know, breast or bottle, formula, however you do it, you know, you will always have that bond with your baby. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to answer any questions that you have for me. I just want to thank the 411 Mamas for allowing me to be a guest on their channel today. If you found this video to be informative or helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and again, my name is Chloe Burnett. Bye!